VeChain mass adoption. Let's get into it. So Chris, today we're going to be taking another cheeky look at VeChain, and we're going to be taking a look at how VeChain could be a game changer in the post-pandemic recovery, and we're going to be talking all around, just exactly what is going on here with mass adoption for VeChain. So guys, as we get into this, if you find this video useful, informative, maybe even entertaining at times, do go ahead and hit that like button. We both really do appreciate it. And of course, if you happen to be new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all those hidden gems and new cryptocurrencies that we talk about here at Cheeky Crypto, do consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with absolutely everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It is free and you'll stay well informed. So why not? And Chris, before we jump on down to the desktop, anything you would like to kind of cover before we get into this?
Yeah, just going to say back-to-back VeChain videos, so much bullish news, we just have to cover it. So yeah, apologies for anyone that isn't VeChain fans. You ought to be though, because big stuff happening. But with that said, it'd be great to get an understanding of what your thoughts are on all of this really bullish news for VeChain. So do let us know in the comments below.
And whilst you're there, don't forget to let us know what your price predictions are for VET and VeChain during the 2021 bull run. Really interested to know what everyone thinks they're going to start seeing in terms of price discovery here for VeChain, because obviously at the point of recording this video, VeChain is yet again setting new all-time highs. So let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on price. Really interested to know. Right, with that being said, Chris, let's jump on down to the desktop and take a look at what's going on here with VeChain.
Yeah, let's get into it, Nick.
Fantastic. So VeChain could be a game changer in China's post-pandemic recovery. So 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, president of agri-tech capital, has published research on China's food sector woes. And there were, unfortunately, quite a few issues when it came to the pandemic and a lot with the China's food supply and that food sector as a whole. And so there has been a bit of a need to kind of move things along in lots of new and innovative ways. We saw, I think it was, if I get the name right, because I'm always going to get it wrong, Chris, the China and Animal Health and Food Safety Alliance partnership with VeChain way back in, must have been November, December time of 2020. Yeah. And ultimately, that partnership was massive. It was a massive deal at the time because it saw big players like McDonald's and Starbucks and a whole host of others, right? The big names that were part of that alliance that basically were going to start maybe taking a deeper look into blockchain and specifically VeChain. And this is kind of where things are going with this particular article here and how, ultimately VeChain could be a game changer in the space. So in the context of the post-pandemic economic recovery, ultimately here, Aiden is arguing that VeChain could be that game changer. Although the Asian giant faces, a predicament, I should say, Chris, as the publication states, it has a recovery plan in place for 5 key areas, and these are the key areas where ultimately technology can come and help, right? So for the food or the Chinese food industry alone, which is looking to improve with the application of technology, agri-food tech, the country is expected to invest around that $6 billion, okay? And therefore VeChain and its solutions will be a key in multiple sectors due to the increase in demand for transparency within the food chain. And you cannot put, I think you can probably put a price on it. I was going to say you can't put a price on it, but you probably can. But ultimately, when it comes to food, it's definitely something you want to have full traceability on and definitely need to have that transparency on it. And this is why VeChain seems to be doing a lot of work within the food sector specifically, not solely. They do lots of fantastic things for many different areas as well. We see them with automotive, we see them with retail, but food is definitely something that they're very close to. And we can see that with Walmart China, but also with this alliance themselves, with looking at how they can make everything very transparent and immutable via blockchain. This is also something that you see with the US when it comes to no seafood as well, and that partnership that was formed, I think, back in, it must have been December, Chris, of 2020. And so you can see how food traceability and food transparency is definitely something of key focus for many different countries in 2021. And China is obviously no exception to that. So obviously the increasing demand for this transparency within the food chain is absolutely key. And in recent years, the Chinese population has been exposed to news about fraud, contamination, food inspection failures. And it's not just going to only be, obviously, the Chinese population that will be aware of this. That happens all over the place. There's loads of counterfeit consumables, Chris. You talk about this quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's massive, isn't it? For me, I still find it hard to grasp how big it is, and how undervalued the token is still. For me, like, I just think there's so much upside. It's beyond words.
Well, it's making real good use cases in the real world, right? Ultimately, they're changing the world for the better, because it's going to make that fraud nigh on impossible, right? You're not going to have those counterfeit bottles of wine or food products out there anymore. Not because they're just going to be able to check whether they're in the blockchain they are or they're not, right? It's a very, very simple process. It's either authentic or it's not authentic. So you can see, obviously, it's something that is a truly global problem. Here, they're just talking about the Chinese population that was exposed to news about the fraud, the contamination, and those inspection failures, but they are a global problem. So this phenomenon has, been exaggerated by the use of social networks. Obviously, things go viral very quickly. And according to the executive, in that sense, Aiden does write the following. He says that a company that is a potential game changer is VeChain, a Chinese blockchain platform designed to enhance information flows for complex supply chains. He's right about a few things. Definitely think that VeChain is definitely well positioned. It's obviously a 5-star rated blockchain service provider, which is the only one in the world. So it's going to get a lot of interest from businesses around that specific sector. The fact that they do supply chain as their core business, but then obviously dabble in a lot of other things in a very professional way, does make them a clear contender. So I definitely think it's going to be a game changer in specifically around that food industry and that traceability and that transparency, which is going to be key. So definitely want to be kind of paying attention to VeChain just around those. But with that being said, Chris, there are a few other fantastic blockchains that also do the same thing, right? So definitely, like, I think it's Track, which is another one, doing fantastic things more on the West. But nonetheless, VeChain is definitely well positioned, around that Asia area. So China, for sure, is definitely heavily integrated there. I think it's going to do incredibly well from the food perspective. Now, VeChain has numerous partnerships in China, and we speak about this all the time. But VeChain did announce, a publication along with, I'm going to get this wrong, but 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 Technology, and probably murdered that. I apologize. A company behind a sensor called 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, which allows a farm to place a sensor on a chicken's ankle, and that way relevant data can be stored about the animal, such as its diet, health, and conditions in which it lives. Along with VeChain, other companies and solutions mentioned can revolutionize the agri-food tech industry in China. And however, the increased adoption in this technology and the reduction of its costs when applied on a large scale will be highly relevant. And Agritech's CEO stated the following, right? So he's saying that China is leveraging homegrown cutting-edge technology to produce food more efficiently or effectively in a sustainable environment. Venture investment in Chinese agri-food tech companies rose by 66% year on year in 2020. So it's definitely a key area that China do want to kind of push and make sure that they get it right. And obviously blockchain technology and this cutting edge technology that they're referring to is definitely going to be key to really pushing that further forward. Now, with its multiple partnerships and solutions already integrated into real-world companies and use cases, VeChain distinguishes itself from other companies. In this regard, he mentioned that VeChain's strong strategic partnership with large enterprises. And the quote here is that in 2020, VeChain became the first blockchain-based entity to join the China Animal Health and Food Safety Alliance. This is a CAFA that I spoke about earlier, and has already formed strategic partnerships with the Chinese divisions of Bayer, Walmart, BMW, LVMH. Obviously, DNVGL, PwC. The list is an incredibly long one if you want to get into partnerships, and definitely something you need to be paying a lot more attention to. And VeChain appears to be a centerpiece in the Asian Giant's 5-year national plan, which we spoke about in yesterday's video, focused on developing China's capabilities around blockchain technology. And ultimately, I think this is going to be absolutely fantastic. And as obviously the Shanghai Media Group reported, it's a solid signal to support VeChain in the region. I think, Chris, VeChain is definitely going to start getting a lot more momentum, and I miss the days where I could pick it up for half a cent.
I know, and all those people that were selling back then, and I was like, my head was in my hands, because for me, this has always been on the cards and has always been something that was going to happen, and I love the fact that we're seeing it now. It's fantastic, and if you go back an awful long way to when we first started the channel, I was saying that the pandemic's potentially slowed VeChain down a little bit now, and I think we're getting to that time now where it's time to shine for VeChain, and it's time for some of this adoption to really be sort of full steam ahead, everybody on board the V train. And I kind of see that as what's happening now, and I kind of expect it to propel at a rapid pace, because we know how quickly they can onboard clients. I mean, what they did, and I know I feel like I'll repeat myself a lot, but it's the one example that stands out. The Walmart China, how quickly they managed to onboard them with their hardware and software really, really quickly, much quicker than even they anticipated. So we're going to see this more and more. There's lots of comments in the YouTube comment section, Nick, I've been looking through today, around DHL. Wouldn't it be great if they have others on there? And we did mention DHL yesterday. It's not really one that we talk about too much. I think they sort of partnered up back in 2018. It was a long time ago. And these sorts of partnerships do slip under the radar a lot. So, it's starting to sort of come to the forefront now, and people are starting to see the strong partnerships that they've got. And I think there'll be many more onboarded in the coming months. So, we'll cover as much of it as we can. Obviously, we've got to sort of tread I guess carefully to a point where we have to cover some of the other projects. But this project for me is an absolute beast. Obviously, this is just my opinion, not financial advice. But yeah, it looks bullish for the future of VeChain. It really does.
Absolutely. And guys, if you're looking forward to more fantastic news on lots of the other projects, then join us tonight on the live stream, 8:30 GMT. And we basically spend pretty much an hour, maybe 2 hours, going through all of the projects that you want us to take a look at. We do the technical analysis and we dive into each of those. So if that's of interest to you, join us on the live stream and we'll see you then. And with that being said, if you...
go for it. I was going to say, Nick, sorry. Come chat to us. Yeah, ask us some questions. Come join us live. It'll be good. It'll be a laugh.
Absolutely. If you found this video useful, informative, hit that like button. We both really appreciate that. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with all of that technical analysis, new cryptocurrencies and hidden gems, then consider subscribing to the channel. By subscribing, you will be kept up to date with everything we do here at Cheeky Crypto. It is free. You'll stay informed, so why not? Right, with that being said, we hope everyone has a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.